Hey, what's up guys? I'm Al Kavadlo. Welcome to another edition of Ask Al. Today's first question comes from a user named Gracie J. She writes, "Dude, I think you are awesome. I've read your book Pushing the Limits and follow all your vids. I was even thinking of possibly doing the PCC until I saw the requirements for women. Why are the standards so low? Kneeling push-ups and not even full pull-ups? I follow plenty of RKC, HKC, and CrossFit women and see that they can perform all these movements fully. Is there going to be an advanced cert soon? Always a fan, G." Well, thanks for the comment, Gracie. I'm glad you enjoyed Pushing the Limits. I'm glad to hear you're thinking of coming to PCC. By the way, for anyone who doesn't know what PCC is, watch this video right here. As for the Century test, the idea is kind of just to establish a baseline of fitness. It's not supposed to be an elite standard. It's kind of like when you take your driver's ed test. You have to parallel park, you have to stop at a stop sign, you have to be able to use a turn signal properly, but you're not expected to race the Indy 500. Having said that, we do get into a lot of advanced stuff at the workshop, and I think you would learn a lot and benefit a lot and have a great time if you came. We are going to be doing an advanced PCC eventually down the line, but that's probably not going to happen for a couple years, and we're probably going to have the first PCC as a prerequisite anyway. So come to the first one, you'll love it, you'll have a great time, and I can't wait to meet you. Next question for today comes from a user named LawnDogMoon2, who writes, "Al, my wrists hurt when doing handstand push-ups. How can I make them stronger?" Well, there's an expression that goes, "You're only as strong as your weakest link," and I think that's kind of what's happening here. Your shoulders and arms might feel like they're strong enough to do a handstand push-up, but if your wrist can't handle it, then you're not ready for the exercise, and you've got to go back a little bit and practice more remedial stuff. Now, depending on where you're at, that might mean a pike push-up, it might mean a regular push-up, it might mean a knee push-up or a wall push-up. I don't really know where you're at. I can't, unfortunately, diagnose people through YouTube comments. But regress to an exercise that doesn't hurt you, practice that for several weeks, move on to a slightly harder step, practice that for several weeks, stay away from the pain, and hopefully in time you'll be able to do harder exercises. You can't be short-sighted about this sort of stuff or you're going to mess yourself up in the long run. Having said that, there is a possibility you've got some unique medical issue or some kind of problem that can be diagnosed by a doctor or physical therapist, so you might want to go seek out in-person help. Next question comes from a user named, this is a tough one, Kautumak, who writes, "Hey Al, thanks for the videos. Do you know any exercises to grow the forearms and calves?" Forearms respond really well to pull-ups. Anything where you're hanging from a bar is going to work your grip a lot, and those grip muscles are right here on your forearms. So pull-ups, bar hangs, going across a monkey bar ladder, all that stuff is going to be great for your forearms. As for calves, your calves get hit when you do basics like squats and lunges, but calves also respond really well to running and jumping rope. Something about those high reps and staying on the tips of your toes and just rebounding up on there, and those reps add up. And when I was training for the New York City Marathon back in 2009, that was when my calves were at their most swole. So take that for what it's worth. Last question today comes from a user named Lenore, who writes, "Hi Al, on a not so serious note, what do you think about CrossFit?" Great smile. Thanks, Lenore. I hope you were serious about the smile. As for CrossFit, I think CrossFit is great. Anything that gets people moving and gets people out of that mentality of going to a gym and going on a treadmill and doing a bunch of machines is something that I'm definitely in favor of. I know there's some critics of CrossFit who say that they prioritize speed over form, and that's definitely not something that I would be in favor of. But I think most CrossFit coaches are actually really good, and there's a couple out there who maybe aren't so good who are kind of giving a bad rap to the rest of them. And frankly, that sort of thing has been going on in the personal training industry for a real long time. There's a few knuckleheads out there that make the whole industry look bad sometimes, but I don't think it's fair to demonize CrossFit just because of the actions of a couple of people. Speaking of CrossFit, my brother Danny and I are going to be down at CrossFit in New Jersey. It's called Q CrossFit. We're going to be there in January for a workshop. I'm going to put the link down there so you guys can check it out. Those of you on the East Coast, it would be really awesome to have you come out and train with us in person. That's it for this edition of Ask Al. As always, leave your comments and questions for me below. Hopefully I'll get to you next time. Don't forget to subscribe, share this on Facebook, Twitter, like it. You know the deal. I'm Al Kavadlo, and we're working out.